Okay, Brian, thank you. And that's our news for this Monday. I'm Deborah Norville. Thank you for joining us here on NBC News at Sunrise. Have a good day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.
I'm Tom Brokaw. Will greed wipe out the great beast of Africa? Find out in a special report on the war against poaching tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Going all out for Oklahoma. This is KTVY, Oklahoma City.
Now, this is News 4 Oklahoma.
Good morning, Oklahoma. It's Monday, the 6th of April. We'll get the weather forecast from Brother Butch in just a moment, but first in the news. 2 people are gunned down in a Midwest City grocery store parking lot, and motorists can expect detours through downtown Oklahoma City beginning today. We'll have details a little later. This is News 4 Oklahoma early in the morning. We're the McCain brothers. It's great to be back.
How are you this fine Monday morning?
Terrific. How about yourself?
Well, doing fine. We've got an upper level disturbance we want to talk about a little bit this morning. It's mainly just right above us, causing some cloudy skies across Oklahoma. Not a lot of sunshine in store today, but I think the weather's going to cooperate for us. 44 degrees right now, humidity 62%. The pressure is 30.17. We've got a cloudy sky, a west wind at 7 miles per hour. Checking the breakfast time temperatures around Oklahoma this morning, all the temperatures in the 40s, except for one over here. 38 coming in from Gage and Woodward, with some clear skies being reported from northwestern sections of Oklahoma. 44 degrees in Oklahoma City. It's a little bit warmer where they've had some showers over around Tulsa earlier this morning, just a few sprinkles. 47 degrees from Tulsa, 46 in from Ardmore, and 43 in from Fort Seal at Lawton. Winds are out of the west, blowing pretty lightly at about 3 to 8 miles per hour this morning. And you can tell that the upper level disturbance is right over Oklahoma with some cloudy skies. And as we mentioned, we had a few scattered showers earlier this morning, according to a radar, so we'll check it. Mainly right up here around Depew and Bristow, Oklahoma, but these are no longer showing up. What we have back here are temperature inversions back in the western counties of Oklahoma. So, actually, no precipitation being reported across Oklahoma, but we do have cloudy skies this morning, and we'll stay with cloudy skies most of the day today. Temperatures will be mild, light west winds. Afternoon highs without any sunshine, except maybe in the northwestern counties. They're liable to see a peek at the sun up there. Highs in the 50s, 58 here in Oklahoma City. For tonight, partly cloudy and cool, light west winds. Lows will be near 40 for a minimum temperature here in the city. And tomorrow, partly sunny and slightly warmer with light southwesterly winds. Afternoon highs will be in the 60s today. In fact, we'll see a little sunshine tomorrow and experience 62 here in Oklahoma City.
Thank you, Butch. This morning we'll be visiting with Ellis Gregg, the president of the Oklahoma Horsemen's Association. He'll be joining us during the first half hour. Then in the second half hour, Frank Royals will be here. He'll be showing us some new hairstyles.
And Ben will be back with the top news stories of the day after this commercial break.
6:05 the time, topping the news. 2 people are dead this morning after a shooting in a Midwest City grocery store parking lot. Authorities say 45-year-old Rosalie Francis Tate and 31-year-old Jeffrey White were gunned down Sunday evening as they sat in a parked car. The woman's husband, Kenneth Tate, turned himself over to police and has been booked on murder charges. The couple had been separated when the shooting took place.
People were just getting their groceries and putting them in the van when he pulled up next to them and jumped out and started shooting for no apparent reason whatsoever.
Tate had reportedly tried to run over his wife recently, but the Oklahoma County District Attorney refused to file charges. Rosalie Tate also had a court order prohibiting her husband from threatening her or coming near her. She was declared dead on arrival in a Midwest City hospital after being shot up to 7 times. White died at an Oklahoma City hospital from 2 gunshot wounds to the head. OSBI officials say they plan to exhume the body of a woman as the investigation of the administration of former Lincoln County Sheriff Ray McClain continues. Kanita Jo McBain died of a gunshot wound in 1983. OSBI spokesman Paul Renfro says McBain's death was officially listed as a suicide after investigation by McClain's office. The woman's parents contend their daughter was murdered. Oklahoma City fire officials still haven't released the identity of a man killed in a weekend fire. Officials say smoking in bed caused the fire at a boarding house in the 700 block of West California. A white man in his 50s died Saturday in the blaze, but his next of kin must be notified before his name is released. The city does have a smoke detector ordinance. Fire investigators will look into why there was not a detector in the apartment. Local Scrivener employees were expected to meet with company officials today to try and work out contract differences. The 2 sides were hoping to avoid a possible strike. The employees turned down a contract offer from the company Sunday. Some workers call the offer ridiculous.
I don't think anyone wants to go out, but we can't live with what the company has offered us. No way.
It's terrible. The rate of inflation's going up, and they want to cut our pay.
Corporate leaders say they are in a business where cost cutting is necessary to remain competitive.
Of course, it's down, as everyone knows. Other industries have had much more serious cutbacks. We've made a commitment, basically, to deliver food, which is an essential commodity, to the consumer at the most reasonable rate possible, and still, of course, pay a fair wage to our employees, which we feel is our obligation.
Scribner supplies groceries to 120 grocery stores. The two sides are expected to get together today to try and work out their differences. A state legislator says he could be driving faster, or we all could, on rural highways in the near future. Last week, Congress cleared the way for states to designate some rural highways as 65-mile-an-hour roads. Representative Howard Cotner of Altus plans to introduce a resolution today that could clear the way for the faster speed limit on some Oklahoma highways. In his words, everybody's ready to go. Meanwhile, travel through downtown Oklahoma City will be a little slower beginning this morning. Work crews will start a repair project that's expected to take 10 months. Just after rush hour this morning, some eastbound and westbound on-ramps will be closed between Western and I-44 on I-40. Transportation officials say the repairs are badly needed.
Well, the best advice I can give the drivers is to watch the signs. The signs are very clear as to what's happening, and that means as they enter the construction project that they need to be very alert and plan for this thing.
This stretch of I-40 will be reduced from 8 lanes to 4. The repairs are expected to take about 300 days. Evangelist Oral Roberts is back at the pulpit. He traveled to Texas Sunday to dedicate a church east of Dallas. Roberts spoke to 5,000 followers just 5 days after his self-proclaimed Judgment Day. Roberts told the nation in January God would call him home if he didn't raise $8 million by the end of March. Outside the Texas church, the evangelist was greeted by a Christian protester.
I'm just here to tell people that Oral Roberts' tactics for getting people to send money to him are wrong. I don't think that's the way God works.
But inside, church members praised Roberts, and most said they believe God's threat to call him home. During the service, for the news cameras, Roberts acted out how he thinks he's being persecuted by critics and the news media. State conservationists and wildlife officials are worried this morning for Oklahoma's rattlesnake population. They're urging hunters to remember their daily limits. Rattlesnake hunts have become an annual sight at several Oklahoma towns. Organizers say the hunts are intended to help local cattlemen who consider the snakes pests and dangerous to humans and livestock. But wildlife officials are worried about the hunt's impact on the number of rattlesnakes in the state. This weekend kicks off the annual events in several towns. Coming up on News 4, the president of the Oklahoma Horsemen's Association, Ellis Gregg, plus hairstylist Frank Royals. Stay with us. Butch will be back with the 5-day forecast right after these messages.
6:12, 12 minutes after 6 o'clock on a Monday morning, the birth of a brand new week, and it's good to have you sharing at least a part of your breakfast time with us. Here on Channel 4 this morning, all the temperatures are turning up in the 40s this morning, except one. A little bit cooler up here from northwest Oklahoma, from Woodward and Alva, about 38 degrees there, 47 coming in from Tulsa. A pair of 4s here in Oklahoma City, 41 from Altus and Clinton and Weatherford. You folks in western Oklahoma, 42 degrees. And the winds, as we mentioned, are out of the west, barely blowing at about 3 to 5 miles per hour. Let's take you back to about 6 o'clock yesterday evening and show you a satellite sequence that starts at 6 yesterday evening and goes to 6 o'clock this morning, about 12 hours worth here. And you can see that upper level disturbance and that swirling motion of these clouds kind of in a counterclockwise rotation. It's a very weak low, but it has been causing some sprinkles across central and northeastern and northern sections of Oklahoma. The only precipitation I foresee in the forecast this afternoon will be predominantly up here in the northern counties of Oklahoma, and it's going to be very, very light. We're talking just about a few sprinkles. And last report, it was snowing very lightly over in Clovis, New Mexico, so temperatures are a little bit colder out to the west, and they are seeing a little bit of snow out around Clovis right now. Of course, there's a dome of high pressure up here in the upper Mississippi River Valley, causing clear skies up there and rather chilly temperatures. And, of course, they've had a lot of snow in the Appalachians over the weekend, about 2 to 3 feet of snow there. So, as a result, travelers' advisories are out there. We'll go ahead and check in with the radar once again. We'll explain to you that earlier we had a few sprinkles up here around Depew and Bristow, just on this side of Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they're no longer showing up, and this back out of here is just temperature inversion. So really no precipitation falling across Oklahoma, this morning. But we do have cloudy skies and 44 degrees right now in Oklahoma City. Humidity 62%. The pressure is falling from 30.17. Winds are out of the west, barely blowing at 7. The forecast for Oklahoma today, mostly cloudy, so the clouds are going to stay around. We'll look for mild temperatures, light west winds. Afternoon highs will be in the 50s today, 58 for a maximum temperature in the city. And tonight it'll be partly cloudy and cool with light west winds. Lows near 40 for a minimum temperature in the city. And tomorrow, partly sunny and slightly warmer with light southwesterly breezes. Afternoon highs in the 60s, and we'll go with 62 and some sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Well, it's good to be back in the saddle again here in Oklahoma.
Certainly is.
Don't you think?
Glad to be back.
We took a trip out to Los Angeles for a little while and got to meet our old pal Gomer, didn't we? We saw
Yes, we did.
saw Gomer on Beverly Drive, I guess it was.
Jim Neighbors.
Yeah.
Gomer. Boy, I remember coming home after school in the afternoons back in Bovina and watching Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, he just got through with lunch with his agent, you know,
yes.
Talking big money there.
Well, I think he's done pretty well, you know, as a entertainer, singing.
And I'm sure he's still getting money from his series.
I guess so. If he's not, he got a raw deal.
Yeah, he did.
Topping the agriculture news this morning, the National Cattlemen's Association has some of its own ideas on how the farm credit system should be restructured. The association has sent its recommendations to Agriculture Secretary Richard Ling. The ideas reportedly included expanding the current export bonus program. Let's take a look now at the Chicago Board of Trade. At the close of business on Friday, wheat was 1.5 cents to 4 3/4 cents higher, with the contract for delivery in May at $2.81 1/4 a bushel. Corn was 1/4 cent to 1.5 cents lower, with May at $1.57 3/4 a bushel. Oats were 2 1/4 cents to 5 cents higher, with May at $1.49 1/2 a bushel. And soybeans were 1/2 cent lower to 3 cents higher, with May at $4.97 1/4 a bushel. And that's a brief look at the Chicago Board of Trade. Coming up this morning, Frank Royals will be showing us some new hairstyles for summer. But first, we'll be back with the president of the Oklahoma Horsemen's Association. Ellis Gregg is with us this morning. He's president of the Oklahoma Horsemen's Association. Good morning, Ellis. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Just
Ben?
terrific, terrific. What's on your mind this morning? I guess you're excited about the racetrack.
Very much so. Of course, horses are always on my mind. I've been in the horse business all of my life and rodeoed many years ago, and then I've got into showing and then in the running horse business. So we've been very excited about what's happening here in Oklahoma now.
What will Remington Park do for the horse industry?
Well, we all think that it'll be make a great contribution to our economy all over the state, not only Oklahoma City and this community, but statewide. The horse industry in Oklahoma is larger than most people realize. We have about 222,000 horses in Oklahoma, and a study had been commissioned by the American Horse Council recently nationwide, and the horse industry makes a $15.2 billion contribution to the economy. And Oklahoma ranks third in the nation in the number of horses, and I would imagine that we the horse industry contributes about $300 million annually now, but after our second or our first pari-mutuel racetrack is in operation, this may increase to $1 billion a year. It could very well.
So you think this wait's going to be well worthwhile, huh?
Yes, I do. The wait has been slow in it's been slow in coming, but it's well worth it. Anything this good needs to be slow and deliberate, and to be sure there's no mistakes made.
How has the downturn in the economy affected horsemen in Oklahoma?
Well, it has depressed the market. Our economy, there's not that many people that have the income now to purchase horses or to pay the training expenses or the breeding fees, and it has certainly depressed the market prices of our horses. We have a great abundance of horses in Oklahoma, and so just the general economy has really impacted us.
Any prediction, Ellis, when the first race will be out at Remington Park?
Yes, I don't know exactly the day, but September of 1988, there will be a 50-day straight thoroughbred meet, and we're all excited. There's been a lot of dirt. If you've been by the site recently, there's been mountains moved. There's really a lot of work going on in site preparation, and within a few months, I think we'll see concrete and steel coming up.
So you're optimistic. The horse business has got a bright future here in the state of Oklahoma.
Very much so. I see what has happened at Sallisaw at Blue Ribbon Downs, and coming from the highest unemployment county in the state, it is now the lowest unemployment. And the sales tax collections have increased tremendously. 3 or 4 new motels have been built there. Building development has increased, and the breeding and training farms all around the perimeter of Sallisaw have just skyrocketed, and they're all full, and I can see the same thing happening here in the central part of the state. And the important thing about Remington Park, the size of this facility will be large enough that it'll not only attract people within our state, but it'll attract people from a wide radius from other states, and that's where the state really receives a big benefit.
Yeah, much like Hot Springs does.
Exactly.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
Ellis, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
My
Ellis Bragg,
pleasure.
president of the Oklahoma Horsemen's Association. I keep wanting to say Cattlemen's Association, but it's Horsemen's Association.
Don't get it confused
Thanks
with
again.
Ellis Freeney.
Yeah.
They have the first same name,
That's
but
right.
they're not kin. Right? 6:20, 20
Now,
after 6.
Hold it. Now, they have the first same name, but they're not kin?
That's right.
Well, yeah, that would. I understand that because if they had the same last name, they might be kin. But just because they have the same first name, I'm aware of the fact they wouldn't be kin.
And you're not kin to Ben Cartwright either, are you?
Not at all, or Benjamin Franklin for that matter.
I'm glad we got that cleared up. Boy, am I glad. 6:21 now. Was 6:20. Let's hit a home run now with Bob Berry Jr. in sports.
Good morning, everyone. Odds makers for the 1987 baseball season are already saying it will be a Subway Series between the New York Yankees and the New York Mets. The Mets, I think, would have to be a favorite, but what about the Yankees? I'm not so sure. Jesse Orosco, 5.5 months ago, struck out Marty Barrett to end the '86 season, and the Mets beat the Red Sox to win the World Series. Well, believe it or not, opening day is today for the '87 season, and we will see what materializes. Cleveland will play at Toronto. The Indians are supposed to be good this year, and the Yankees will try and make those odds makers' predictions come true. They'll open at Detroit. It'll be Texas at Baltimore, Chicago at Kansas City, and the other American League game, Boston at Milwaukee. 3 games in the National League on opening day, '87, Montreal at Cincinnati, San Diego at San Francisco, and the Dodgers will play at Houston in the 8-game schedule for today. Now, what about the umpires? Will they be available today? Well, negotiations have been going on all over the weekend, and they actually started at 3 o'clock yesterday, their final session. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they met through the night. The umpires wanting more money, obviously, and they are meeting with the official spokesman from the American and National Leagues. No word on what's come of those meetings. If there is no agreement reached by this morning, when the first game is supposed to begin in Toronto, substitute umpires will be used to start the 1987 season. In golf, the Masters Golf Championship begins for the men on the PGA Tour in Augusta, Georgia this Thursday. It's a major tournament, and a major event on the LPGA Tour was completed yesterday. Patty Sheehan here in the final round of the Dinah Shore. A nice birdie putt at number 16, and she took the lead at 5 under par. It didn't last long, though. Betsy King with the shot of the tournament out of the bunker on the same hole. Number 16, she too was 5 under par, and we had a tie for the lead. Patty Sheehan had a chance to win the tournament outright on number 18, but she missed this birdie, so she remained at 5 under par, and it was up to Miss King to knock in her par putt and force at least a 2-woman playoff, which she did. Pat Bradley is the defending champion, and she tried to force a 3-way playoff, but she missed her birdie putt at 18, which she had to have to put her at 5 under. She finished the tournament at 4 under par, and Sheehan and King went to extra holes -5. On the second extra hole, Sheehan missed this little gimme from about 2 feet, and that opened the door for Betsy King to win the $80,000 first prize and the major, the LPGA Dinah Shore Classic. It's the richest event on the LPGA Tour. For the men, Danny Edwards had the lead for half of the Greater Greensboro Open in North Carolina, but he had a 77 yesterday. This was not one of his bad shots, though. Look at it. On number 18, the approach almost in the cup for Danny, and he'll be talking about the final 2 rounds for a long time. Scott Simpson picked up his first tour win in 3 years and the $108,000 check, and also a berth into the Masters with his victory at the GGO. Mario Andretti has won the Long Beach Grand Prix through the streets of that California city for the 3rd time in the past 4 years. The only time he didn't win it was when his son Michael won a couple of years ago. And next half hour, we'll have comments from the combatants, Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard, about their super fight scheduled for tonight in Las Vegas. That's sports. I'm Bob Berry Jr.
Thank you, Bob. Just about 6:25. With summer right around the corner, a new hairstyle might be just what you need.
Frank Royals will be here to show some of the latest styles. Plus, Butch will have the 5-day forecast, and later in the show, we'll have some tips to help motorists who travel I-40 through downtown Oklahoma City.
Sign, everywhere a sign.
Thing stinks.
Breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that.
By the way, they closed it for us.
It looks like that old sun will be coming up in about an hour now. You know, we set our clocks forward 1 hour over the weekend, or at least I hope you did. then you're with the times if you set your clock an hour ahead of time. There's an upper level disturbance over Oklahoma this morning, and it's causing cloudy skies. In fact, we had a few sprinkles earlier this morning, but nothing showing up on radar right now. And it looks like the cloud's going to continue to stick around today. Really no significant precipitation in the forecast. We mentioned maybe a few sprinkles up in the northern sections of Oklahoma, but that'll be about the extent of it. Now, checking the temperatures around Oklahoma, most all the temperatures are in the 40s, a little bit warmer than usual because of the blanket of clouds, except up here where the clouds have cleared out just a little bit up in northwest Oklahoma. 38 degrees from Gage and Woodward, 47 from Tulsa, a pair of 4s here in Oklahoma City and Moore, Oklahoma. Winds are out of the west, barely blowing this morning at about 5 to 7 miles per hour. Afternoon highs will be in the 50s, so it'll be a pretty nice day, even though we won't see a lot of sunshine today. Temperatures are going to be A-OK. I think some 50s all across the central plains, and we're going to be seeing some 60s down here along the Gulf coastal states. For tomorrow, looks like a very nice day. A dome of high pressure will settle in over Oklahoma. That upper level disturbance that's over Oklahoma this morning will move on off to the east and perhaps cause some rain showers down here in southern sections of Arkansas and Tennessee, the northern sections of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. But as far as we're concerned, looks like we'll see quite a bit of sunshine tomorrow, and temperatures will tend to warm up just a little bit. Look with me. 58 here for an afternoon high. Quite a bit of clouds and a little bit of sunshine tomorrow and a warmer temperature of 62. Wednesday, beautiful day, 64, sunny skies. Thursday, partly sunny, 66. Friday, 68 and increasing clouds. So overall, looks like a pretty good week to be outside, doesn't it? In Oklahoma City this morning, 44 degrees, humidity 62%. The pressure's 30.17 and falling. A cloudy sky, west wind at 7 miles per hour. And the forecast for Oklahoma today, this Monday, mostly cloudy and mild, light west winds. The afternoon highs will be in the 50s today. Here in Oklahoma City, 58 for a maximum temperature. And tonight, partly cloudy and cool, light west winds. Lows will be near 40, 40 for a minimum temperature in the city. And tomorrow, partly sunny and slightly warmer, light southwesterly breezes. Afternoon highs tomorrow with some sunshine around. We'll go with 60s and 62 anticipated for an afternoon high tomorrow afternoon in the city.
Thank you, Butch. Frank Royals is with us this morning. He's from Pizzazz Hair Salon. Good morning, Frank. And you brought a whole group of folks with you this morning.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, we did. We brought quite a few people along this morning to show you some of the new looks for the spring summer, which just came out from the National Hairdresser Association.
Now, two of your associates are with you today, and Michelle Pierce. It's Michelle Pierce and Ron Sterling.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be introducing the models and saying a few things about them real quick.
All right. Well, let's get that going.
Okay, my first model is Ashley. She's a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority at OU in Norman. And Ashley had some fading of the ends on the end of her hair, so we used a color weave to remedy that. I've cut a mid-length bob on Ashley using graduation around the perimeter. I've used diagonal forward lines on the sides of her hair to give a slight increase in length towards her face. Mid-length expansion tapering is a technique used in the women's look in the '87 trend. And this was used to allow the style to move. The bang area is highly texturized for volume and fullness. Scrunch drying was used to give a permed look. A classic look for '87. Thank you, Ashley. This is John Kane. John is a former president of Phi Gamma Delta at OSU in Stillwater, and John is very active and likes to wear his hair short and clean. So John and I chose the Zephyr. This is one of the new spring trends released in '87. The Zephyr is a highly texturized look designed by Jim Turner, a member of Hair America. This particular look I cut and texturized with a razor. It features a short neckline with graduation and longer sides, again cut with graduation and swept back in the styling. Volume and fullness are used on the top to give this look its form. A neat, clean cut for '87. Thanks, John.
Seems like people are more and more all the time going to the shorter hairstyle.
Yes, and the men, they seem to be getting a lot shorter, especially, like I said, out here in Oklahoma, the wind's pretty strong, and when you swim and everything, it looks bad when it's not groomed and looking nice, like you gentlemen wear yours.
Well, thank you, Frank. Let's check in with the next model.
This is stylist Sandy Hughes at Pizzazz Salon. If her model will come on out, this is Rose Marie Wolf. Sandy has given Rose a soft, beautiful day look. Rose has naturally curly hair, so to emphasize her large, soft curls, Sandy left her hair a bit longer and applied a generous amount of mousse to keep her hairstyle delicate looking all day. Thank you, Rose. Sandy's second model is Debbie Lingle. She's a professional singer, and this allowed Sandy to be a little more creative with the hairstyle. She's French braided her hair starting at the neck, proceeding up to the top, leaving the bangs spiky, then applied fast drying spray for the finished look and more hold. This style can last up to 3 days and is great for evening. Thank you, Debbie.
Cindy Drenner is our next stylist. Her first model is Helen Wright. Helen is a whatever-goes type person, and Helen needs a hairstyle for both work and play. Cindy has given her a very short texturized cut, and as you see, the sides and the nape area are taken extremely close. The top has been styled into lively spikes using sculpting lotion and vigorous scrunch drying. The V-shaped neckline adds the finishing touch to this fun, easy hairstyle. Thank you, Helen. Cindy's next model is Kevin Wallace. Kevin's hair has also been taken short on the sides and the nape area, and the V-shaped neckline adds fun look for the evenings out. Kevin has a strong weight line and natural curl to help give him the fullness he needs on top. Cindy has added grease and sculpting spray to give him shine and separation. Thanks, Kevin.
I'd like to bring out DJ Royal. She's our styles director and color specialist at the shop. Her first model is Paula Parsons. She's the manicurist at Pizzazz Salon. When she started working at Pizzazz, she had a medium-length bob that made her look a little too young and immature. So DJ wanted to create a style for her that would be fun, casual, could give her a look of sophistication. So she cut it into Sebastian's style called the Punch and styled it out with fizz, mousse, shaper, and hairspray and a little spritz for extra hold. Thank you, Paula.
And that's called the Punch, is that right?
The Punch,
The Punch.
It sort of has a punch there on top with the spikiness, the way the hair comes out. Dana is our lovely makeover girl from Sunday's newspaper in the look section. We did Dana. She came to us and we did a complete makeover on her. She really needed help and we decided to recondition her hair with a 2+1 treatment and did perming and cut it into a new looking stacked bob. However, the bob look is new and quite different. And the color that we used was a little bit of dark brown to blend with the new growth that she had for a more natural effect. Thank you, Dana, and thanks for doing the makeover in the paper. DJ's last model is Paula Stiver. Paula had a simple shoulder-length style, and it needed a little more drama and pizzazz. So DJ cut it into a very texturized bob with a forward movement. Also a lot of fringe around the face for a soft, slenderizing effect. Her color was done in gold accent color on the ends only, called tipping. This was done to emphasize the line of the haircut. Thank you, Paula.
Cecilia Varentis is our next stylist, and her first model is Marty. He's a pre-med student at the University of Oklahoma, and he has a surfer cut. To do this, she's used electric clippers for the front section and texturizing shears to blend all the hair together. This particular haircut was designed to enhance his facial features. Thank you, Marty. Her next model is Becky. And the 87 styles are soft and romantic, and she put a cellophane on her hair, a clear cellophane, to give it a healthy look. The hair was set to dry in Zulu knots, and this creates a beautiful curl. She has created this romantic look on Becky, and she calls it boudoir hair. Thank you, Becky.
Tell you what, we've got time for one more, and you've got this. This is a wedding dress here, Frank?
This is a wedding dress. This is what everybody's waiting for June for.
Okay.
All right, this is a beautiful bride, Charlena. She styled her hair, a personal creation by Tasia. This style is very easy to manage, and it's cool for those hot summer days. Instead of the traditional veil, she's replaced the ribbons with baby's breath combined with pearls, which is acceptable today. And the makeup was done on Charlena by Michelle.
Now for our last one, can walk through here. This is Darren, and Darren was done by stylist Pamela Hearn. This is a very young look, spiky on top there. And that works really well for him. And I've done Pam's makeup in the new spring colors today, if you can catch that real quick. Really bright and looks great. Thanks, Pam.
Frank, thank you for bringing out all the models this morning. Boy, you had a busload of them, huh?
Yeah. It looked like a parade coming over here.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We're out of time. We'll be back right after this commercial break. Stay with us.
21 until 7, I know that punch hairdo kind of caught your eye, but I think you're that surfer. You need that surfer cut, to tell you the truth. Tomorrow morning on News 4 Oklahoma, Bill Wood with
may get punched.
With the Oklahoma Family Farmers Expanding Resources Organization.
Also tomorrow, Dr. John Carmichael with Woodward's 100th birthday celebration, and Lewis Stockard, Oklahoma Wheat Commission representative for South America. That's all tomorrow on News 4 beginning at 6 a.m. Let's check now to see how livestock sold at the Oklahoma National Stockyards last week. Here's our dependable neighbor, Wilford White.
For the week here at Oklahoma City Stockyards, we sold 10,765 cattle. Stock and feeder cattle, $1 to $2 higher for the week. Slaughter cows, $2 to $3 lower. And slaughter bulls were $1 to $2 lower. For the week here at Oklahoma City Hog Auction, we sold 2,080. Butcher bears and gelts, $1 to $2 lower. Sows, $2 to $3 higher. Here at Oklahoma City Wednesday Sheep and Goat Auction, we sold 441. All classes were steady. This is your neighbor Wilford White reporting from Oklahoma City Stockyards.
On hand at the yards this morning, 8,380, 926 hogs.
I guess they're not expecting anything. They've just got those on hand. Okay?
Oh, it's great to be back working with you. It really is. You know,
Thank you, Butch McCain. How you doing?
Yeah, right? Just fine, Gomer. The Gulf wheat bid at the close Friday, 309, up
2.5 cents from the close of Thursday. The May Kansas City futures bid 270. Basis for the Gulf bid 39 cents over the May futures bid. State elevators. Beaver 235, Banner 241, El Reno.
I'm thinking George Hall needs one of those surfer cuts. What do you think?
Possibly so.
And
maybe,
Wilford?
yeah,
Get
Wilford
him a
would
surfer
look
cut?
good in a surfer cut. Kingfisher 241, Lawton 244.
Go out to Lake Hefner with that surfer cut.
Grain, there are your quotes for barley, milo, soybeans, corn, and cotton. There are your hay quotes across the state of Oklahoma. Butch?
Big fight tonight. Oh, big fight. Are you ready for this?
This morning we got a big fight this morning.
No, it's tonight.
I'm excited about it. I really am.
Hagler and Leonard. I'm afraid that Leonard is not going to win. That's for sure. I think Hagler's going to hit him so hard that his kids are going to be born dizzy. It's going to be interesting.
You think he is going to knock his head off?
Yes, I'd flip him like a cheese omelet. Let's check in
his
with
head may explode.
Here's Bob Berry Jr. to talk about the big fight tonight.
Good morning, everyone. Tonight's the night, the biggest fight in the history of boxing. Sugar Ray Leonard against marvelous Marvin Hagler from Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Who do you think's going to win? Well, the odds makers overwhelmingly pick not the guy you're about to see, but the other guy. They pick Sugar Ray Leonard to lose. And here's Sugar Ray. He hasn't been in the ring in 5 years. Kind of understandable. He's taken on the toughest guy of all times in Hagler. Leonard has been inactive for a while. Hagler is the heavy favorite, but Sugar Ray respects his foe.
He's been beat up. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think he's been beat up at all. I think Marvin has always been victorious. I think he just happened to fight tough fights.
Marvin Hagler hasn't lost a bout in 11 years, and the pretty boy image Leonard has is one Hagler hopes to remove tonight. And he doesn't worry at all about Leonard's eye problems.
Leonard had a legit excuse to get away from the game of boxing and still come out smelling. Why go out of the game on your back or whatever like that? And this is the way that I'm planning on him going. I'm planning on stretching him. I'm planning on hurting him. If I don't knock him out, he's going to take a lot of damage.
The super fight tonight is expected to earn both fighters a combined $30 million and will start about 10 p.m. Oklahoma time, again from an outdoor arena built especially for the fighters at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Oklahoma State's baseball team goes for its 19th straight victory tonight in Wichita, Kansas. They'll play Wichita State in a game that starts at 7. Oklahoma won a doubleheader yesterday against Kansas State, 11-0 in the opener and 8-7 in the nightcap. And in the opening game, the Sooners got some pretty good pitching.
Bob, Jack Armstrong was not the winning pitcher for the Sooners in that game, but he did throw 5 shutout innings. The transfer from Rider College has been Oklahoma's ace this spring. And like the Jack Armstrong of radio fame 45 years ago, this All-American boys legend has spread, especially to the big league scouts and their radar guns.
Well, I would say if you can throw up somewhere between 8 and 9 miles an hour, you know, that speed, well, you're throwing pretty fast.
Armstrong does throw hard, but he's trying not to get caught up in the numbers on a radar gun.
My junior year, particularly, I got caught up in that whole thing, that charade back there, and paying attention to them and pitching for them rather than pitching to win. And I learned my lesson, and now I'm just pitching to win. I don't think about them too much back there.
So far this spring, Armstrong is 5-1 in 52 innings. He has 66 strikeouts, showing All-American potential on the diamond. But like the 30s radio hero, this Jack Armstrong wants to be an All-American, period.
I'm doing everything I can to live up to it and do the right things, be a winner, give my chance a team to win every game out, and try to give a good example for any little kids that might be watching.
Robert Allen, News 4 Sports.
Jack Armstrong, a very good pitcher for Oklahoma's baseball team. In auto racing, Dale Earnhardt is the hottest thing on wheels. He's won 4 of the last 6 NASCAR races. Yesterday, an accident in the first Union 400 in North Carolina. That's Darrell Waltrip, who spun, and he was run into by Jeff Bodine, who was tapped by Ricky Rudd. Now, take a look from the car of Ken Schrader. He waves to the drivers behind him saying, whoops, we got a problem here, and then watch Schrader manipulate his car right between the 2 drivers, Waltrip on the left and Bodine through a fog of smoke there, and that's pretty impressive driving. Dale Earnhardt, though, won the race in car number 3. Again, he has taken the checkered flag 4 out of 6 times. He is very, very hot on the NASCAR circuit. And we will be the News 4 basketball team, not necessarily a hot team, but we'll be in Lexington tonight at Lexington High School to play a benefit basketball game at 7:45 to raise money for Special Olympics in the area. So if you're around Lexington tonight and you want to come see some real good basketball, please come join us at Lexington High School. That's sports. I'm Bob Berry Jr.
Thank you, Bob. 6:44 the time. Robert Allen and Dan Frelkel, both their wives, had little boys.
Yeah.
The past few days.
How about that? Congratulations to both Robert and Dan. I talked to Dan last night, and he's so excited. He's always wanted a boy, you know, and he's got him a girl.
A girl.
His son's name is Brian Carl, I believe.
Hey, I met a fella, and I didn't know this, but he was, well, I knew it after he told me, but I didn't know that he had the two little boys. But John Kennedy, who was David Walter's campaign manager, has two boys, and their names are Buck and Ben.
Ben and Buck, huh?
Ben and Buck, Buck and Ben, and he said they catch a lot of ribbing about calling Buck Butch.
Oh, yeah.
Butch and Ben.
Yeah, well, I can imagine
But
why.
I feel sorry for that kid.
Yeah.
It's a sad
They'll probably
story.
end up calling him Butch after a while. 44 degrees this morning
But
in
that's
Oklahoma
not your
City.
name. Your name is Charles.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh. It's cloudy this morning. Let's take a look at our current
But we call you
conditions.
Butch because I couldn't pronounce Charles. Remember that?
You still have a hard time with anything.
A lot of names.
Yeah. We called Ben Rover for a little while, but it didn't stick. Okay, let's check the forecast. Can we do that? We've looked at these current conditions long enough, I think. Mostly cloudy and mild tonight. Light west winds. Afternoon highs today without hardly any sunshine around. In the 50s, 58 for a maximum temperature in the city. Tonight, partly cloudy and cool. Lows will be near 40 here in the city. And tomorrow, what do you say? A little sunshine around, slightly warmer temperatures. Afternoon highs will be in the 60s, 62 here in Oklahoma City tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you, Butch. Coming up on News 4, 2 people are dead after being shot in a Midwest City grocery store parking lot. Plus, workers with Scrivener talk about a possible strike. And a little later, Butch will give us his 5-day forecast. Stay with us. 6:48 the time, topping the news this Monday morning. 2 people are dead after being shot in a Midwest City grocery store parking lot. Authorities say 45-year-old Rosalie Francis Tate and 31-year-old Jeffrey G. White were gunned down Sunday evening as they sat in a parked car. The woman's husband, Kenneth Tate, turned himself over to police and has been booked on murder charges. The couple had been separated when the shooting took place.
People were just getting their groceries and putting them in the van when he pulled up next to them and jumped out and started shooting for no apparent reason whatsoever.
Tate had reportedly tried to run over his wife recently, but the Oklahoma District Attorney refused to file charges. Rosalie Tate also had a court order prohibiting her husband from threatening her or coming near her. She was declared dead on arrival at a Midwest City hospital after being shot up to 7 times. White died at an Oklahoma City hospital from 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Employees of an Oklahoma City grocery supplier are trying to decide this morning whether to strike against a contract proposal. Workers at Scrivener unanimously turned down the contract. Some of the employees called the offer ridiculous, others laughable.
I don't think anyone wants to go out, but we can't live with what the company has offered us. No way.
It's terrible. The rate of inflation's going up, and they want to cut our pay.
Under the current proposal, most workers would receive a 40 cents an hour pay cut. Some would have to take a $2.50 an hour cut. The company would also use more casual help, which employees say will almost eliminate their overtime pay. But corporate leaders say the cuts are necessary to stay competitive.
Of course, it's down, as everyone knows. Other industries have had much more serious cutbacks. We've made a commitment, basically, to deliver food, which is an essential commodity, to the consumer at the most reasonable rate possible, and still, of course, pay a fair wage to our employees, which we feel is our obligation.
The two sides are expected to get together today to see if the differences can be worked out. However, the company says there must be a pay cut. Employees say they won't accept one. If you travel through Oklahoma City on Interstate 40, expect some slow going for the next 10 months. Beginning this morning, work crews will be repairing several bridges on I-40 near downtown. Starting just after rush hour today, eastbound and westbound on-ramps will be shut down one by one. By the end of the week, motorists will have to choose their own detours to avoid the construction. Transportation officials say some of the bridges are too badly damaged to wait any longer on
The advice
repair.
I can give the drivers is to watch the signs. The signs are very clear as to what's happening, and that means as they enter the construction project that they need to be very alert and plan for this thing.
The repair project is expected to take 300 days. A state legislator says we could be driving faster on rural highways in the near future. Last week, Congress cleared the way for states to designate some rural highways as 65-mile-an-hour roads. Representative Howard Kottner of Altus plans to introduce a resolution today that could clear the way for the faster speed limit on some Oklahoma highways. In his words, everybody's ready to go. Grain buyers representing 12 countries are in the Sooner State this morning. Oklahoma agriculture officials say the group is here to look at this year's wheat crop and learn about grain marketing. The delegation is to tour wheat fields across Oklahoma today and meet with state legislators tonight. Tulsa evangelist Oral Roberts is alive and well this morning. Sunday, he traveled to Texas to dedicate a church just east of Dallas. Roberts spoke to 5,000 followers just 5 days after his self-proclaimed Judgment Day. Roberts told the nation in January God would call him home if he didn't raise $8 million by the end of March. Outside the Texas church, the evangelist was greeted by a Christian protester.
I'm just here to tell people that Oral Roberts' tactics for getting people to send money to him are wrong. I don't think that's the way God works.
But inside, church members praised Roberts, and most said they believe God's threat to call him home. During the service for the news cameras, Roberts acted out how he thinks he's being persecuted by critics and the news media. Oklahoma City's General Motors plant will roll off its 2 millionth car this afternoon. The lucky winner will be a Chevrolet Celebrity. The Celebrity is the highest volume product currently produced at the local assembly plant. It was the #1 selling passenger car in the United States during 1986. Governor Henry Bellman is expected to be at GM this afternoon when #2 million rolls off the line. Congratulations to the folks at the GM
You're happy
plant.
about that then, aren't you?
That's exciting. I like Oral Roberts. I enjoy him, but I mean, what was he? Was he? Some guys were holding him, and he was.
Hey, I don't know. Don't knock Oral.
I'm not knocking him. He tickles me.
I'm going up on the transmitting tower and not coming down until we see some more sunshine, okay?
No, I'll tell you what. I was going to say that I want you to go up to the transmitting tower and they can send me the money. I'm not being hard on Oral Roberts. He's done a lot of great things for this state. He does his tact that a lot of folks, a lot of people who really are into Oral Roberts even say that he's gone a little too far with this.
You're kind of amused by him.
I'm tickled, amused.
Okay.
I still think he's done a lot of great things for the state of Oklahoma, and he's toiling on.
You're working your way out of it. Singer-songwriter Merle Haggard is turning 50 today. Did you know that?
I didn't know he was 50.
Yeah, it looks like 150, doesn't it? You remember actor Ivan Dixon? He's turning 56. He played on Hogan's Heroes. And on this day, in 1909, American explorer Robert Peary became the first person to lead an expedition to the North Pole. And he was the guy that coined the phrase, "It's colder than a brass commode on the shady side of an iceberg." You remember? That's Robert Peary said that. He said, 44 degrees this morning. It's cloudy, a west wind, 7 miles per hour. Pretty nice morning. Hardly any sunshine in the forecast today, though. Starting off with mainly 40s all around Oklahoma, mostly and mainly 38 coming in from northwest Oklahoma. One of my favorite little towns is Addington, Oklahoma, in Jefferson County, south of Duncan, named after the first postmaster down there, James Addington. Afternoon highs today around Oklahoma. Despite the lack of sunshine, we're going to be seeing 50s today, so it'll feel pretty good. 50s in Texas and Kansas. Satellite photograph shows that we've got an upper-level disturbance that will keep us in the clouds, it looks like, throughout most of the day. They'll start to break up in the northwestern counties of Oklahoma later on today, and then this upper-level disturbance will move on off to the east, it looks like, and then we'll start to see mostly sunny to partly sunny skies tomorrow. Radar earlier this morning indicated a few sprinkles over around Tulsa. These are no longer showing up across Oklahoma. But as that disturbance moves off to the east, it'll carry some rain showers and trigger some rain showers off to the east and south of us. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll go with partly sunny skies, and we'll warm up tomorrow afternoon of 62. So today, it'll be cloudy, 58. Tomorrow, little sun, 62. And Wednesday, loads of sunshine, 64. Thursday, 66 and partly sunny. And then Friday, clouding up a bit, and we'll see 68. So overall, some pretty nice weather for this week. Specifically, our forecast today, mostly cloudy and mild, light west winds. Afternoon highs will be in the 50s, 58 here in the city. And tonight, partly cloudy and cool, light west winds. Lows will be near 40. And then tomorrow, we'll get the sunshine pump going. Partly sunny, slightly warmer. Afternoon highs will be in the 60s, and here in Oklahoma City tomorrow afternoon, we'll see 62 for maximum temperature. So some nice weather ahead.
We'll be back right after this.
Almost 7 o'clock now on a Monday morning. We appreciate you watching this morning, and a lot of people are nursing their aches and pains, you know, after running in the redbud yesterday. And
hey, it's Oral Roberts.
oh no! But we had some beautiful weather for it, though, didn't we?
Yes, we did. But we'll be back tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you have a great day.
Well,